Hey, human lie detectors in the making. That's what we're focused on with our podcast series where we're talking about true lies, right?
Yes.
The truth that our bodies are made for and that we love to receive, and the lies that get in the way of being the fullness of who God created us to be. All right?
Yep.
We lie with the best of intentions.
For me, this was a guilty pleasure podcast. I love studying this stuff so much. And so today we're going to be talking about how to pick up on lies by other people.
Yeah.
And even while you're watching the news, which is super fun, or crime documentaries like me.
Yeah. This has changed the way that I watch news, take in media.
Me too.
I'm so less likely to get swept up in the narrative that's being presented to me. And I just feel free to actually think critically and have my own opinions at that point.
Yes. Ultimately, that's what we want you to do at the end of this.
Cool.
All right, guys, we'll see you in there.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to the Catholic Coaching Podcast. My name is Matt.
And I'm Erin.
And we're talking lies today. True lies, right? Continuing on with our series, how you can become a human lie detector. We're going to be really getting into more of the verbal cues that show up when somebody is being deceptive, right?
Yes.
Intentionally deceptive. So
this comes in handy if you're a mindset coach. It also comes in handy if you love crime documentaries on Netflix, or if you watch the news,
or if you have kids, or you're married.
Yes. But also just like if you just want to be able to read people a little bit better. I think that's where it's really helpful.
And help them along to like being truthful. Because being truthful, we talked about in the last episode, it's a lot healthier.
Yes.
Right? All those adverse effects that show up. It's helping somebody just be kind to themselves and tell the truth. Okay. But also like in a world where we're bombarded with a lot of spin and twisting,
editorializing.
Exactly.
Yes.
To be able to listen critically and kind of and also when you're watching, be like, all right, I'm getting kind of that spider sense that this person's being deceptive. Oh, and I can see some of these indicators showing up. That's kind of justifying that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The majority of these are more verbal. So that's good because I think more of the body language cues, like catching them, it takes a little bit more time. But these you can pick up pretty easily, pretty quickly. So once you kind of know what they are and you're like, that's what that is. That's what that's called. Yes. Don't do that in person, like with real people. Well,
here's what I like with clients. I like if I see something or I hear something, I like being able to call their attention and focus in on it and then be able to lean in a little bit more. And I think that there's a way of doing this that's very compassionate and pastoral, right?
Certainly.
Versus like an I gotcha. Because especially when you're coaching, you're helping the client to become aligned with truth.
Yes.
And identify those obstacles, which are often lies and thoughts that they believe about themselves or about the project that they're doing that are keeping them from getting the success and the growth that they want. But just like helping them to really be a student of maybe when they're holding on to something that's just not quite fully true, right? And the effects that it's having on their lives.
I'm glad you made that distinction. So if you are a coach, use it in that capacity. If you are not a coach and you listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of people who have a lot of opinions on things, this is actually very helpful with that too, sorting through and taking what is true, what is factual, and maybe not taking the rest of it.
So this is fun. We've got like about 6 things or so, categories of things that you can listen in for that are going to be indications that somebody might be a little deceptive, right? So step 2 here in our series to becoming that human lie detector.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep in mind before we get into this as well, that these cues are not guaranteed deception indicators. Like they kind of have to come into clusters. Like if you see more than one going on, okay, just like pause, maybe like, is this being truthful?
Yes.
It's usually never one of these things.
Yeah. Like if somebody says, it's like liar, right? Because you said, no, it's more so like Erin says, look at the clusters.
Clusters, and also know how the person normally acts. So hold it up next to their baseline, because this might just be the way that they talk, right? They may have like never learned to not not lie, but they have maybe never learned to speak
Tell
quickly.
the truth.
No, speak quickly or whatever, whatever the thing is.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Erin, because I know I've seen what's on your nightstand in terms of the books and everything like that, and in your library. So, like, what are some of the references where we're drawing some of this material from?
Oh gosh, there are so many.
6 Minute X-Ray.
Yes, 6 Minute X-Ray by Chase Hughes. I would say that's where the majority of this stuff comes from. So, but also go to YouTube if you like to watch YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Yeah. That'd be so great. Cha-ching. But then go subscribe to
the Behavior Panel.
The Behavior Panel channel. We talked about them a little bit in the last episode, but they are body language experts. And so Chase Hughes is one of them. And everybody else also has a book, which are all excellent. I've read all of them. So here we go. Let's go.
Cool. Okay. So what are some of those common signs of deception? We might hear verbal signs of deception.
Okay. Inconsistency and evasion. Okay. So that's more of the general term. And then I'll kind of give you some examples.
Okay. So
each.
Inconsistency of what? Can you be more specific?
So somebody's telling you a story, like giving you a statement of some sort. It's a contradictory statement. So there's like the story changes in the details, or it's like this and that. And you have the thought, wait, the two can't both be true.
Okay.
Right. Like, or you have that question in your mind. How are both true?
Yep.
So that's one example, a contradictory statement. If anybody is avoiding direct answers, okay.
This is very common on TV.
This is also really common in coaching, not because people are trying to be deceptive usually, but because maybe they lack focus. Like, so you're like, wait, come back to me. So I use this a lot in coaching where I'm just like, come back. We're going to go back to that original thought. We're not going down this path right now. So it's like, I don't even know if it's like intentional, but avoiding direct answers. But you do see this in interviews on TV, and it's deflecting with vague things or overly general responses, non-answers. That's a big one too. So it's like you realize after you listen to their answer, wow, you really didn't answer that question.
This one comes up a lot in politics, right? Where somebody will ask them a very clear, either a yes or no, or a very clear question, and they deviate onto something completely different. Call that doing a red herring, right? The whole concept of red herring is to throw off the scent, right? So the red herring, very stinky. You want to kind of drag it and send somebody down a wild goose chase on a different path, right? That's often what happens here. I also hear this chaff and redirect language as well, where they just kind of throw out a bunch of other stuff like a chaff.
Distraction.
Just distract, right? And so chaff is what's shot out the back of a fighter jet when a missile is coming at it to kind of distract the targeting system of that missile, right? And so the jet can get away.
Yeah, like hopefully you've forgotten your first question.
Yeah, I think of Batman just kind of going, whoosh, just smoke comes up and then he just disappears.
I think another one that is certainly a part of this is called a resume statement. It's not a non-answer, but it's a preface to an answer. Okay. So a resume statement is like, I've always been, I don't know. Actually, Richard Nixon does this
we just talked about this. So if you, there's a 39-second clip from Nixon's famous "I'm not a crook" speech, where 3 times in that 39 seconds he talks about his years in public service.
Yes.
I made my mistakes, but in all of my years of public life, I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent.
Years in public service. So he really wants to let people know that, like, oh, his years in public service, that means something. That means he's trustworthy. And he says, "Oh, I'm not a crook." And this is hilarious. Just go watch this clip. Because as soon as he says, "I'm not a crook," and he's done, and he's open for questions, he immediately.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
President,
yes, sir.
Steps back, takes a step back from the podium, crosses his arms in front of him, which is fig leafing, right? He's covering up his vital organs because he's just ready for all of the questions that he really does not want to receive.
But he also looks like he's about ready to fight someone. Like he's like, fight me on that.
Totally posturing. Yeah. Like kind of welcoming it, but at the same time, just posturing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that's another form of I wouldn't say that's a non-answer, but it's like I'm going to preface it with all of my resume statements, and then I'm going to tell you my answer.
Yeah.
So it kind of falls in that category. Okay. Yep. I love this one. Repeating the whole question.
Okay.
So if you ask me, Erin, what did you do last Thursday?
Erin, what did you do last Thursday?
And I go, what did I do last Thursday? Okay, that's a sign of deception, because I'm trying to buy time by asking the whole thing back to you. And this is different than ask me the same question again.
Erin, what did you do last Thursday?
Last Thursday? I went to the store.
Cool. Yeah.
And see.
Right.
But so that's different from that. Okay. Because last Thursday is just, I'm asking him, like, referencing.
Okay. Yep.
We're talking about last Thursday. So I'm actually trying to grab what I actually did last Thursday.
Yep.
So, but repeating the whole question is a form of buying time.
Right. And another way that can happen, like, so what did I do last Thursday? Well, or the thing that I did last Thursday was where it's just
like you're writing a paper on it.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, yeah. So that's another one. Okay. Overly detailed explanation. So this is you giving excessive, unnecessary detail to sound convincing. Some people just talk this way, and you're like, all right, on with it. Come on. Is that really important? But
oftentimes the details come in areas where they're just trying to create a little bit of, like, it really looks like you're giving a detailed answer, but suddenly when it gets to the heart of the matter, right? In the murder mysteries, like when they come upon the body, right? Suddenly it gets very vague. So it's very specific on what the front porch looked like as they were coming up to it and where the flowers were positioned. But as soon as they walked into the room and they had the conversation with the person, they can't remember anything that was actually going on.
So the behavioral panel followed the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. And she did this actually where she talked about, like, the parquet floor and, like,
oh my goodness.
She talked about all of these, like, insignificant details. And then they're like, and then what did you say to him? It was like something like that. And she was like, I forget. And it's like, oh, okay. Because that's actually really significant. And we could care less about what the floor looks like. So but that's another form of stalling. That's another
filibustering. Yeah.
It's that, but also it's like, I'm actually giving you significant details, and you're like, actually they're not. Because when it comes to the actual significant thing, you don't remember.
And sometimes they'll even, like, if you confront them on something, what they'll do is they'll give kind of a almost like a slight confession. Right.
Yeah,
and this is what Nixon did in the beginning of that speech. One of the things he says is, like, I haven't always gotten it right. So kind of like, hey, like, I'm not perfect or something like that. So there's some sort of confession that they're making that is like, hey, I'm being honest over here. But that's done in a way to kind of mask that they're hiding things going on over here. They're trying to feign that they're an honest person by giving you something that you weren't even asking for. Right. But that's all to color your perception. Yes. While they're still being dishonest about the other thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's a chaff and redirect, I think, maybe a little bit too.
Could fall in that category.
But also, I think maybe it's not actually. I think it's actually more, I forget what the actual term is, but it's like normalizing it. Like being like, we all are this way, which is another thing that people do.
Yeah. They'll be all guys struggle with this.
Yeah.
But,
right. It's a form of minimizing the actual offense or whatever it is that you're lying about.
Yep.
Okay. And so another like nuanced version of this inconsistency and evasion is too many qualifiers. So also filling time. But these qualifiers are like, to be honest, honestly, I swear, or believe me.
My favorite one is like, well, I'm not going to lie, but.
Wait for it. Here it is.
Sounds like and about to lie.
Right.
Anyways.
Well, even when we teach people how to find facts, like coaches how to find facts, we go, just like have your like spidey sense on when people go, and that's a fact. And you're like, probably isn't actually. 98% probably is not.
Let's
I mean, I know you want me to believe it's a fact, but now I'm like super interested in what you just said.
Okay. Got it. So all that stuff kind of falls into that category of inconsistency and evasion. What do we got next, babe?
Cognitive load and uncertainty.
Whenever you think cognitive load, think of we are taxing our brain. All right. We are actually burning calories that our body would rather conserve by inventing what it is that we have to invent in order for this lie to work. Right. And so there's going to, we talked about the last episode, the stress response that happens here, because suddenly now we're got a lot of things to cover. And this is where we fall back on Wayne, right?
Yeah. It's
to
easier.
say the truth. It's the easiest thing to remember.
It is. So true.
Cool. What do we got with this, babe?
This is kind of like, this one is actually really helpful. You got to know the person's baseline before this, because this might just be how the person talks. But notice in maybe somebody who is normally very fluent and a fast speaker, if there are hesitations and pauses, and when those hesitations and pauses happen. It will sound like or like they'll have some of those filler words, but just notice where there are pauses. Because a lot of times it's not what's being said, it's what's not being said. It's what's being held back.
I see.
So
Okay.
just notice where those pauses happen.
Yep.
Another one is speaking more slowly or quickly than baseline. So this entire section, I would say, always know the person's baseline. Like if this person, like I said, normally speaks slow, this is not something that you want to hold it up next to. So maybe somebody is struggling to keep the story straight or racing to get through it. That's another thing. If somebody's like not used to lying, they might be like saying it so fast and then also giving insignificant details too. And you're like, wow, this is different. And then another one is backtracking or correcting self often. I think a lot of these in this category are actually really normal. Like we can, I would say these are never actually taught in school, even though I think they should be. But they're never actually taught in school, but they're really obvious to a lot of people. Are like, you keep backtracking. Like, why is that so inconsistent? Or, what they're trying to do in that situation and backtracking and correcting themselves is they are trying to align the story on the fly. So this is also a lot like the first section there too. Non-committal language is like
this one.
Maybe, I guess, sort of, I think so. This also could be a form of psychological distancing, which we will get into right after this, or in a couple categories. Why is this your favorite? Why do you like this one?
Well, I think it's it's just like, well, when I hear somebody go, maybe that happened, it's almost like, okay, do you want to believe that happened? Because that'd be really convenient for me if you believe that that's what was going on here, and we could kind of just move on.
Yeah. You hear this a lot in Congress when like somebody's being questioned and they'll be like, yes or no, please. Like, give me a yes or no answer. And the person's like, blah, 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 like going on and on and on. Like, guys, if you want to put all this stuff to a test, just go watch some kind of congressional. Yes. Like hearing and somebody from the other side is actually questioning somebody. Just listen to the deflection, listen to the chaff and redirect, listen to the yes or no, please. And so
it's
this
like, did you say this on this date?
Yes.
I have it right in front of me.
Right,
Is that
right.
you? Did you say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which they never do that. They're never like, you caught me. They're always like,
they just go into a non-answer.
Yes, a non-answer or some type of distraction. But you can put all of this into practice by watching that. Yep. Okay. And that's it for that grouping. The next grouping is emotional leakage. Okay. Which is kind of like a gross word. this is a couple of these nuances is incongruent emotions. So saying something sad with a cheerful tone or vice versa. You actually, if you watch if you're anything like me, and you watch these people who are like serial killers, they actually study other people's emotions and try to make it so congruent, but it does leak sometimes where you're like, whoa, like there was a little bit, they call it, duper's delight on the behavioral panel. And it's like when they've gotten away with something or they think they've gotten away with something and there's like a little side grin, that's an incongruent emotion. And it's like, you should not have wanted to get away with murder, right? Like, okay, like you should be sad about that, or at least be sad about the fact that you're happy about it, you know?
Yeah. Well, even like when you say
remorse?
inconsistent emotions, like typically when we feel an emotion, we feel the effects for a while. So if we're sad and we have a tear coming down our eye, and then suddenly we're just speaking about things very matter of fact, right? Arguably, we're manufacturing, we're acting, we're forcing the tear. Who's the dude that killed his wife? Famous.
No. Was it from
not
a
specific
like
enough. It's one of your true crime ones that you did. Anyway, I don't remember.
Oh, is it the staircase? That one?
No, it was. I remember the this guy was getting interviewed, and he just was talking about his wife that he murdered. He was convicted on it, and like had this like tear kind of coming down. And usually, like if you got tears falling down your face, you wipe it, right? But he wanted that
Was
tear.
it Scott Peterson?
Yes, Scott Peterson that did it. Really wanted to have that tear,
my gosh.
focus for effect, right? But then moments later, he was just talking as if he hadn't. No, he was completely over it.
Yes,
at that point.
Yes, behavioral panel did one on him, and it was like, so he was not a good liar.
Yeah.
There are some people who are really good liars, and he was not one of them.
Yeah. Overuse of sarcasm or humor here as well. So when you get those text messages that are just like, haha, on there, like LOL, something like that. And it's just like, I don't know if that really applies here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
This is just communicating something.
Yes.
It's not really a joke.
Well, it's a form of minimizing it. Once again, it's like minimizing like the weight of this. And it's like, oh, if I'm laughing, you should be too, you know,
Let's laugh together.
Or like, let's make a joke about this. You also see this show up, and I think it's like, this isn't really that malicious, but you do see it show up at funerals. Like, you're like, if I don't laugh, I will cry.
Oh,
so
in the military, it was, like that's where you get dark humor.
Yes.
Just to kind of break up the intensity of the emotion. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I do think it's like a little bit of coping there too, but I wouldn't put that in a lying, deceptive category. You are lying to yourself because you're sad, right? But maybe you're also like, I do need a break in this.
The unusual tone or pitch, right? Suddenly you get high pitch. Remember high pitch errors from from the Whack Pack?
No, what's that?
Oh, it was one of Howard Stern's Whack Pack. It's totally like this. That was anyways. That's what I thought of.
Well, it's never going to be that obvious. Like if somebody talks like me and then they're not like,
So when somebody's stressed out, though, there's a constriction in the vocal cords here. There's a high, like suddenly now they're speaking at a little bit higher. Just like kind of notice that. It's just like, what's going on over here?
Or the pace is faster.
Yes.
Right. So they're like, what?
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
That really is just showing that there's a lot of emotion behind what they're saying. It's not necessarily it's deceptive, but this is a form of that emotional leakage. So there's like some type of emotion behind it.
Really trying to control.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of control. So a lot of these indications show up when somebody's really trying to just clamp down and control. Okay. Psychological distance. I like this one.
Me too. So using distancing language, like using third person instead of I or we. What's the Seinfeld character where he would always speak about himself in third person? Oh. That's not what we're talking about here, but Jimmy. Yeah. Jimmy likes waffles.
Whatever. Jimmy likes those shoes. That was the white shoe episode.
Yes.
When your mom got Avila the shoes that were 2 years too big for her. She was walking around like Kramer and the magic shoes.
Anyway.
That was special.
We digress. But distancing language where they will be like, he, but they won't actually use the person's name. Mm-hmm. So I had a client one time, and this was before I like read any of this stuff, but I always go back to this memory. And I should have known that there was trouble in paradise with her and her ex now. But she would always say he and like never like this guy's name, you know? And I'm like, I don't know this guy. Like, so like, it'd be like, well, he, whatever. And it was very like distancing language. You see that a lot. You also saw, Bill Clinton say, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That woman,
not Monica Lewinsky, because, well, they had just asked him that, like by her name.
Mm-hmm. But also you see it in the Garden of Eden with Adam. Who says, the woman you put me here with. Suddenly it's like, well, your wife, right? Like Eve, like the woman you put me here with. And again, that's also a non-answer.
Yes.
That Adam gives to God in the garden.
Yes. A non-answer turning into blame.
Yeah. Eve gives a non-answer. Adam gives a non-answer.
Gosh, that would be so cool to like put like the deception rating on just that one sentence.
Our first parents, put them on the behavior panel.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay. So distancing language, that's one of them. The other one is I don't like passivity, but also like
passive voice is when you're actually you're kind of softly.
Yes.
I remember I used to get hammered for it in writing class. You're using passive voice, like to say this person did this, or rather than, you know,
mistakes were made,
right?
Versus
who made the mistakes?
I made a mistake.
So it's taking the action and you're distancing yourself from the actual action.
Yeah.
A cookie was taken.
You hear this when somebody is guilty of actually, like, we'll say killing somebody else, right? Like you'll see this on the stand, and they'll use words, language, like softening language, like I am not a person who hurts others. It's like, well, we're not talking about hurting. We're talking about like taking their life, you know? Yep. So it's just that softening language. Like there's always like from the actual crime, it's actually like you're softening it, you're lessening it. Another form of minimizing it, if you will. Yeah. Another way that we saw this with Scott Peterson. He was speaking so quiet, you couldn't even hear. He was like this. And on the behavioral panel, they call this fading facts, but that entire sentence was like fading. It was not like fading facts sounds like, oh yeah, so the other day I went here and then like it gets quieter at the end
Suddenly
of it.
Not so confident anymore.
Yes. So the fading happens around the deception. But this entire sentence was like so quiet. It was like, hey, no.
Oh, you couldn't even hear it. I think in the movie Kindergarten Cop, where he's telling her, Arnold Schwarzenegger is telling this little girl to like put a toy back, and she goes, I'm not a police officer, I'm a princess. And he goes, put it back. And she goes, I'm not a police officer, I'm a princess. It's like she's not really believing it as
fading
much.
Facts.
Fading facts, right? Oh, that one is very common with kids.
Yes. Oh yeah. Totally.
Yep. There's been moments also where I've been convicted on the podcast where I'm just like, I'm saying something and I'm not so sure. It's really.
And then you see me go like this.
Erin just
get it closer.
Like, no. Fading facts here.
Yes.
Okay.
And then non-contracted language. That's another one. And this, obviously, you have to hold this up next to baseline. If somebody does speak in this way, if they don't use contractions a lot, when I say that, it means instead of saying didn't, you would say did not. But if they speak that way a lot, that's fine. But if we could go back to Bill Clinton's famous statement that has a lot of deception cues in it, but it's, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. So he has, I did not, a non-contracted, where you would normally say I didn't, right? That's how people talk. have sexual relations. Sexual relations is like a very technical term. That's another form of verbal deception. I wouldn't say it's totally verbal deception. He's a politician too. He probably had a speech writer for him, but technical language is another indicator. It's like, okay, why are you saying that that way? It's very, it's another form of psychological distancing.
Yeah. If you even start looking at the hand motions that he's using when he's saying this, there's all kinds of misalignment in terms of like, usually when you're speaking and you're using your hands are moving in cadence with whatever you're saying.
Yes.
And
it's off.
It was off with that. Yeah. I think even going back to Nixon, I don't know if this is here, but this is more maybe indications of when somebody creates a little bit of space. There's a point where he says, I'm not a crook, right? Everybody remembers that. And then he says, I've earned every single thing that I've gotten.
Yes.
And so that pause there's a little hesitancy where he had to kind of give that little extra earned.
Yes.
That word was hard for him to say.
It's something that's interesting to notice in that. And if I were coaching him, we'll just say, I wouldn't be like interrogating him because I'm not a cop. But if I were coaching him, I'd be like, tell me more about that. Like, what does it take to earn something? Kind of lean into that. So if there has been an emphasis on some word, that's actually something that you can grab there.
Yeah. So that's a psychological distancing. Next category we got is defensive language.
Yes. So this is overly formal. This is that technical language that I was saying. Overly formal or stiff speech, especially if you don't normally talk that way. Trying to sound right rather than natural. And then, that's it. Just like that real rigid way of speaking, maybe, and especially if you don't normally speak that way. Yeah.
And you're using words that they sound real smart. Right. But this is not the way that people speak. And this goes back to Bill Clinton, right? I did not have sexual relations with who says that? Like, people don't talk like that. And so we see something there where he's using something that's the language, right? As a fig leaf, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah.
Distracting.
Defensive language also has attacking or accusing. All right. So this is like one of the other ways of doing this. And you do this verbally. You're obviously not physically attacking the person. Hopefully not. But turning the tables to distract from the question. So it's like, what did you do last Thursday? What did you do last Thursday?
Wait, why am I under trial?
Right.
It's like, kind of reminds me of that game they play on Whose Line Is It Anyways, where it's just like you have to answer every question with a question.
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's such a fun one. Is it really that fun?
Okay. Are we replaying this right now? So that attacking and accusing is a form of that defensive language. That's pretty obvious to people. And then protesting too much. What is that saying? Doth protest too much. I think it's Shakespeare. And
it's not you.
It is not me. I'm not the source of it. But there have been times where I've watched people kind of like defend themselves, and they're protesting too much that I'm like, now I don't believe you.
Well, that's when he kind of goes, I never, not in a million years, ever, like, it's unthinkable that I would ever do something like that. Where most people, when they haven't done anything wrong, they just say, I didn't do that.
Yes, I didn't do that.
I didn't do it.
And they're angry because, especially if somebody else did it, they're like, let's go find the person that did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. They got nothing to hide. That's where we were watching another true crime thing last night where they questioned the family, and immediately they didn't suspect the family at all, because the family was just like, why are we spending so much time? Why are you talking to me? We had nothing, like, somebody's out there with my daughter. They took my daughter. Like, we got to be finding that. Like, that's the normal response. Yes. But when the person's just like, knows that the body will never be found.
Yeah.
Right?
But they're also hyper focused on themselves, on defending themselves. Like that's where it's like you're protesting too much and it's a self protecting type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. And then we have miscellaneous. So these kind of don't
catch-all
fall into any of the categories here, but these are fun. So unnatural or rehearsed phrasing. So it sounds memorized like a script. You heard this a lot. I highly recommend you guys go back and watch Behavioral Panel on the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. I mean, this is like, there was so much to work with that. They were like, we should just teach a class on this trial alone. But she sounded very unnatural. It sounded like she was like reading books on like trauma and like wanted to use right language. Mm-hmm. And they pointed that out in her, but it sounded very rehearsed. And she's an actress by trade, and so like you memorize scripts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, we already got into the contractions piece here, but I just remember one of our favorite little videos of this little girl on Instagram or YouTube. Call her the fart girl. She got scared by her own fart.
And then blames it on a
she's
ghost.
like doing a vlog, and she's all of a sudden you hear this little toot in the background, and her face cringes, and it's just like the mortification of I just did this, and it's just like, well, you didn't have to post it, but she just goes, I don't know what was that, you guys, but I didn't do it. I'm scared, right? Chaff and redirects.
I'm scared.
I didn't pause. Do it.
Yes.
Right? There's nothing to wear. Did you guys hear that? I'm scared. I don't know what was that, guys, and I didn't do that. I'm scared.
That would be a great one to break down to, where we know you've been lying, girl.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, okay. And then finally here, answering a question that wasn't asked.
Yes. Shifting attention or manipulating the conversation. Yes. So I don't know if there's I can't think of an example of that one.
Oh gosh. Well, that's what happens I don't have an example, but that's what happens in politics all the time.
Oh.
Where they don't necessarily, there's a question and then they go right into the rehearsed party line statement, right? But then it's a non-answer, but they answer the question that wasn't even there. Another thing that is indication of deception is when you start to throw out all kinds of possibilities of what could have happened. And we saw this with the Hunter Biden laptop case.
Yes.
Where the question was like, is it your laptop? And he goes, it could be my laptop. It could be somebody else's laptop. I mean, like it could be somebody from, this, it could be on the moon. Like it's like come from the moon. Like there's it could be this, could be that, could be this. I don't know. Like it's not really possible to know. And it's just like,
you're like, your deflection techniques are
so like when they start
suspect.
But that's just another kind of chaff of like, could be this. And suddenly red herring, go this way. Which one are they going to bite on? All right. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cool. All right.
Guys, this was so fun. I love talking about this
Erin's
stuff.
love, her fascination, her interests.
I love it.
All right. So God has wired us for truth here, folks, but he's also wired us to receive and believe truth. So when you start to see some of these things, or you start to get that spider sense starting to tingle, that maybe something you're watching on TV or you're hearing in a conversation or that your kids are saying to you in that moment, and you're just like, something's not really adding up here.
Yes.
So just start to consider some of these indicators and just like kind of tally them up. If there's a cluster, just get curious, ask some questions.
I'm glad you said that, because we aren't meant to be like truth police. Like we all misconstrue the truth, right? If we haven't in the past, we will at some point. But like everybody lies, I would say, like isn't fully telling the truth.
Are you using normalizing language right here to just kind of?
I think so. I think I am. I'm like, everybody does it. No, but what I'm trying to say is when people are holding back something or lying by omission or are lying in some way, shape, or form, that is an indicator of some type of self-protection. So if you are a coach, just lean into it a little bit more. Don't be judgmental about it. And that's why I was saying that. I'm like, don't be judgmental about it because you've probably done it too,
Well, help them to just do what they want to do, which is be honest and at peace.
Right.
Right. And that comes with that compassionate curiosity, that mercy, right? Adam, where are you? Like just that like, what's going on here?
Yes.
I remember that being something that, when we even learned as parents, when our daughter was kind of acting out and she just seems like her emotions aren't really fitting what's going on. Just being like,
what's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, tell me a little bit more.
Lean in a little bit. Yeah. Because most people lie probably out of threat. There is some threat on some level in their mind. So anyway,
I had fun. Not going to lie. Hope you had fun too.
I had so much fun. I love this series, True Lies.
Okay. We're going to talk about in the next podcast, we're going to get into like the different degrees of lies, which is fun here as well. So
yeah, it's like level of culpability, level of like malice, because like some people can exaggerate and technically that's a lie, but it's not as bad as like a bold-faced lie or like a complete fabrication. It's just being made up.
Yes.
So those are just some examples of what we're going to be talking about next week.
Yeah. So like and subscribe so you can get that episode when it hits. And we'll see you next time on the Catholic Coaching Podcast.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, thanks for sticking with us in the Catholic Coaching Podcast. If you like what you heard,
please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again.